Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let me say this. Tamar, I know you're watching because I see your text messages coming through here. And you're saying in these messages that this is about to get ugly. And you're going to sue me? See, this is why it's where it is now. Let's go back to the very, 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 very beginning. And I have said so many times, I like Tamar. Tamar, I like you. And what I said on the show initially was Tamar has created this persona where we know her more to be a reality star that's always into it with someone, more so than we know about her music. That's what I said. I also said, when we talked about the Braxton Family Values, when it returned to WE TV after Tracy passed away, God rest her soul, I said, the show really isn't boring. I mean, it's kind of boring. They don't really, to me, it doesn't feel like they're really speaking to each other honestly. It feels like they are tiptoeing around each other. And then you could see it's evidenced in the way that they're filming it. Tamar and her mom were filming over here. The other sisters were filming over here. There were moments where they all were together, but it was just when they were in a therapy session. And so my thought was, let's just not do the show. It's already pulled this beautiful black family apart. And Tamar, I don't know how many of these episodes you've watched of PhagTawlk, but I consistently talk about loving black people. I consistently talk about loving black women. I consistently talk about protecting black women, but not in a superficial way. Not in a superficial way, in a real way. Not just protecting black women from violence from men or from the police. I talk about protecting the mental capacity of a black woman. I talk about that consistently. And so a lot of people said after the show in New York that I gave you grace. I don't feel like I gave you grace. I feel like I saw a black woman. And I believe as black people, like you said earlier in the show, thinking about where we are in this administration, in the world, and how the world see us as black people, we have to make a concerted effort to support each other at every fucking turn. I talk so consistently about how we speak so much about what white people do to us and against us, but we don't talk enough about how we can support each other. Those of you who have millions of followers on social media, you could do a better job of helping to create other millionaires, black millionaires, simply by posting their business, talking about their business, elevating their business. But we don't do that. You know why? Because, if they didn't pay me to post, I'm not posting it. That's who I am. So I don't feel like I gave Tamar grace at the show. I saw a black woman in the audience and I did not want to humiliate her. What I experienced at that show was a person who I felt was trying to humiliate me. I am not angry. I was not angry that day. If I was angry that day, I would have used words and said things to demonstrate that I was angry. When I first started live streaming years ago, I made the decision that I would not use my platform to promote black pain, black people being hurt, shot, beat up, fighting, cussing each other out. I don't post any of that because I understand the power of social media. And I understand that other communities, Jewish in particular, they're very protective of how they're shown in the media. And so I don't contribute to that. And so I felt like you, Tamar, tried to attack me because you didn't like the truth that I spoke on this show as it relates to my perception of the show, the Braxton Family Value when it came back, and my perception of how you are showing up in the world. I think you're uber talented. I think you are uber talented. And what I said on the show, and I will say it again, if you and I were friends in real life, the same way that I lecture her is the same way that I will lecture you. Because I think that's what friendship is about. And all I was trying to communicate to you on the stage that night was that we are not that familiar. And so if you've been around gay people for years and you have gay friends and you are truly an ally, then you should have respected the boundary that I set. I set multiple boundaries that night. I said, do not call me girl. And then you said, bitch. And I said, now you're treading in the waters of disrespect. And then you said, well, you got your titties out. So for the people who were not there, who said, oh, well, he's just overreacting. We say girl all the time. Who is we? Because the cisgender, natural born women that are in my life, who are friends with me in real life, they don't call me girl. And I don't call my female friends bitch. Now, I don't know what some of you gay people do. I don't know what Tamar and her friends do. That's your business. That is fine. That is not a judgment. But for me, I set a boundary and she went around that boundary. Now, I thought that when she came on stage and apologized, that it was sincere. And I said, and she's still texting. Now she's texting, leave me alone. I thought the apology was sincere. Mo, put the pictures up, please. I hugged her. This is backstage. I sent this text message before you move it. I said, she came on stage. She said to me, I apologize. I didn't know that was offensive. I was not trying to hurt you. She said all those things. I said, I accept your apology. I accept your apology. And then the very next day, I woke up in New York City and social media was abuzz. I got text messages and phone calls from people that I haven't spoken to in years. It was all over social media. I never even really thought about this being a viral moment or becoming a viral moment. That was not what I was thinking. So the very next day when I was aware that this is what happened, I sent Tamar, that's my message in blue. I sent Tamar a message and I said, afternoon, I know you're working today, because she had told me backstage when we were here, she said to me that she had a 12-hour day the next day. I said, I know you're working today, but I want you to know that I accept your apology. And we are not feeding into the social media chatter. I posted this picture with a caption. I said, have an amazing day. And I put a heart. And she put hearts and she put a smile. That was sincere. That was from my heart. Because again, when I sit here or when I sit on my own platform, you can take it down, Mo. Actually, put the pictures up where we hugged on stage. And this is when she said what she said and we hugged. She was apologizing here. And so when I sit here and I talk about supporting Black people, I mean that in a real way. That shit runs through my veins. I believe in Black people. I don't believe in tearing up Black people. Now, when I joke about the icon, I never talked about the icon's physical features. I said, Miss Netta looks like she owns a lawn care service. You can take it down, Mo. I never talked about her physically. I never talked about her body, her teeth, her skin, her complexion. I didn't do any of those things. Now, I will give you this. I tore Billy Porter's bottom row up. I tore his bottom row up. But there's a difference between the truth, a read. There's a difference between, let me see, what did I say here? There are three different things. There's a joke, a read, and then there's the truth. And sometimes all three can be true. Now, I was joking about Billy Porter. It was a read, and it also was the truth, right? I don't know Billy Porter, but that's an example. I was not trying to tear Tamar down. I joke about Jennifer Hudson's clothing. I never talk about what she has on. I mean, I never talked about her body, how she looks physically. I talk about her clothes. If she gets a decent stylist, we can change all of that. But it would make me a fraud. It would make me a fraud if I sat here talking to you about supporting Black people, loving Black people, us coming together, and then to get on here and tear Black people down for who they are. That's not what I do. Now, I thought that the apology was sincere. I did. And if I didn't think it was sincere, I would not have sent Tamar a message the next day. But then, because she had an event coming up, she did a couple press junkets. And from my perspective, and from the perspective of many people on social media, even under the post that she made and all of the other blogs, they were tearing her up because it felt like she was doubling down on the apology in New York. It was like, well, the show is called PhagTawlk, and I was just being gay. So if a white person comes into a Black space, does that give them license to say nigger? Had she said to you, sir, Miss Tim, boy, would that have been okay? No. And my point is, it was just a boundary. I set a boundary. That's it. I didn't call her bitch. I didn't do any of those things because I don't disrespect people like that. I don't disrespect Black women like that. I love Black people and Black women too much. And so again, we have to be able to accept constructive criticism. And I feel like when she sat down with Gay Magazine and whatever that other interview was, the radio interview or whatever it was, I felt like she doubled down. And she's been in the industry long enough that she could have said, you know what, listen, it was a moment and I made a mistake. You know what I mean? I respect the queer community, She could have said that. She could have said that, but she didn't. And so to me, it felt like the apology wasn't sincere. It felt disingenuous to me. Now, there were some gay people or queer people, let me say that. There were some queer people who felt like I was overreacting. Oh, you're just overreacting. Well, let me say this to you. Some of you who felt like I was overreacting, you don't have boundaries. Some of you attend churches who disrespect you and queer people every weekend, every Sunday that you go. And every Sunday you go into your pocket and you put money into the pastor's love offering, the offering, you tithe, and you offer your services, your talent, your time to the choir, you're a deacon. You do all of those things, and these people disrespect you. Some of you who said that I was overreacting, and I'm talking to the queer people, some of you who said I was overreacting are the same ones who celebrate Kim Burrell. You can't get past her evilness, her hatred, because she's so talented. And I sat right here in my motherfucking cubicle and said she's as talented as she is evil. Some of you go to barber shops where the barbers, your own barber that you support every week, and the other barbers in the shop talk about queer people because you may be able to pass. So they may not know that you're queer. Gay, bisexual, trans, whatever you are, however you identify. They might not know you. They not know that about you. And so because you have the luxury of passing, you say nothing. And you may even laugh and you snicker and you giggle at the joke about another queer person. That's not who I am. That's not who I will ever be. And so again, whether Tamar got the message or the lesson or not in New York, somebody got the lesson because that was a teachable moment. That was intended to be a teachable moment. And even here, even right now, I am not trying to read Tamar. I am not trying to read Tamar. This is a teachable moment. I don't care about fame. I know some of you are convinced that I do this show because I want to be famous. I don't give a fuck about the fame. I only want the money. And the other thing other than the money that I want is to be effective. My prayer every single night, I get down on my knees and I pray. My only prayer is that I am effective. And one of my prayers is that God uses me, my gift, my words, my writing to reach, to teach, and to heal Black people first. I believe that my life's work is about bridging communities, Black gay men and Black trans people, Black trans women and Black women, Black gay men and Black natural born women, Black gay men and Black straight men. I believe that that's what my life's work is. That's why I'm here. There are more important things that we could be talking about other than this kerfuffle. Can you put that word up there, please, Mo? Other than this kerfuffle, this commotion and fuss about this conflict, this quote unquote conflict. You can take it down, Mo. Thank you. That is the work that I'm here for. I believe we were all put on this planet to do something. And this is a part. Now, we laugh and we joke. But when I tell you, we sit here and I may say Miss Tim to her sitting here, but we don't play like that out there. When we're not in this cubicle, when we are not in this cubicle, I don't call her Tim, sir. I just don't. And we're not a monolith. And some of you who feel that I was overreacting, maybe some of you just want close proximity to straight people. Some of you just want close proximity to celebrities. I don't give a fuck about none of that. But the thing is, I joked about Netta having a lawn care service. When Netta came back, it was, oh, that sissy sitting next to T.S. Madison. You see the difference? I was joking. If I was being serious and I was reading, I would have went straight for the skin. I would have went straight for the shape. I would have went straight for the but I didn't do that. So that's the difference. That is the difference. And the reason that I sent Tamar that text message the day after the show, where I said, I see what's happening on social media. I accept your apology, and we're going to stay in this moment. I sent that because when I was reading through the messages on all of the blogs and all of the think pieces, I mean, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. I sent that message to her because my heart went out to her. My heart went out to her because I received so many glowing messages. You handled that beautifully. You're a class act. Da 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 da. They said all of those things. And so on the flip side, I also saw what they were saying to and about her. So that was me also sending out a message to say, listen, hey, the queer we're people still here. And some, there were women too. But I want to specifically talk to the queer people who were like, oh, you overreacted. Well, then why does she unfollow me? If what she said was completely innocuous, if she was really just joking, and again, I still accepted the apology. If she was really joking on the stage that night, and I gave her the benefit of the doubt because I still hugged her and I said, you know what, listen, whatever, right? But if it was completely innocuous, why did she unfollow me? Because do you remember when I said to you, because I was watching her in the audience and I saw her on her phone and she unfollowed me on Instagram. And I said to you, she just unfollowed me because I saw her moving and I looked and she unfollowed me. And then the next day she followed me back. And so then I followed her back. So again, so for the people who were not in the room, who wanted to say, oh, she was just joking, there was venom in her words when she was speaking to me that night on that stage. But again, I accepted the apology.
Well,
then, like I said, when
may I interject? May I interject?
Let me say this last sentence. But then when she went and did those 2 interviews, it felt like she was doubling down. It was like, I don't give a fuck what he was saying. He overreacting. And this is not what she said. but that's what it felt like. It was just like, well, the show is called PhagTawlk. So does that mean that if you attended a gay pride event, that you should assume that every man there is okay with you saying girl and bitch? Is that the assumption? Her gay friends didn't tell her that? She's been in the community this long. She doesn't know that? Respect to the law. I'm sure this is going to be, this is why I didn't even want to have to address this. The only reason we are here is because of the way that she spoke about the circumstance.
Raymond, don't tell me, TS, this is not about you. Because if it's not about me, then take my motherfucking name out of the headlines. And it's not Craig Stewart and Tamar.
Okay, but here's the piece. The piece is, yes, you did say, Craig, you were right in having your feelings. But where are the people that are close to her saying to her, "No, girl, you were wrong"?
But that's her people.
But you're saying you're her friend. And then James Wright Chanel inboxed me on Instagram. I had to pull him together. And then someone else whose name I'm not going to say called me last night. We'll talk about it offline. He called me last night on FaceTime. Was like, but she's one of the girls. She's been with the gays since she was 13. But then y'all need to school her and let her know. And here's the other thing. When she said I was at a gay show, PhagTawlk is not a gay show. There are more straight women at that show than there are. I think that whether it was James Wright Chanel or whomever saying to me, well, you just kind of took it the wrong way. No. I didn't. I took it the way that it was given. And like I said, I accepted the apology on stage that night. I accepted it and I was done. That was why I sent her the text message the next day and said, listen, I see what they're saying on social media. They're praising me and tearing you up. I was concerned about her mental. And so I sent her a text because I know that if they're praising me, they're eating her up. And just like I read the messages, I know she read them too. And so I sent her a message. And so for her to go on these two shows, and then it made it feel to me like the apology was not really an apology. She just kind of said it because in that audience in New York, they were eating her up. They were tearing her up in that audience. If you listen to the video, they were like, girl, shut up. Turn her mic off. You're proving his point right now. This is what he's talking about. Iyanla couldn't even fix your life. Like, they were saying all of those things. So then when she went on these shows, it made me think, well, maybe she only came on stage and apologized because for optics sakes. I don't know. The bottom line is I accepted the apology. And I personally felt like it was a slap in my face when she went on those media outlets and said what she said. That's all I want to say about it. I don't ever have to talk about this again. I don't ever have to talk about this again. But I think it's important that we understand the difference between reading the truth and a joke. And sometimes all three can exist at the same time. As I said in the case of Billy Porter's bottom row of teeth. Are all hearts and minds clear?
Baltimore, Maryland. Honey, the motherfucking fags are on the way on May 25th, 2025. Yes, God, honey, we are back at the La Familia.
We heard y'all were looking for the fags. Well, guess what? The fags are coming back, baby. That's right. May 25th, Baltimore, Maryland. My hometown, so y'all know y'all got to show out for the people.
Now, girl, listen. Y'all know how packed it be. So, bitch, when by the sound of my voice, I need you to be running over there to www.phagtawlk.com. Once again, by the sound of my voice, I need you to be running your ass down there to www.phagtawlk.com and get your tickets for the extravaganza of foolery that we brings to Baltimore.
Washington, D.C., the fags are coming back to the Howard Theater on May 30th. Yeah, that's right. We're coming back. You don't believe it? Madison, tell these people that we're coming back to the Howard Theater on May 30th.
Washington, D.C. Honey, they said y'all couldn't get enough of the fags, and guess what? Y'all called us back. Oh, my God. May 30th, 2025, the fags will be back in the building at the Howard Theater. Honey, the Howard Theater said, honey, we brought the black folks and all the other kin folks out, child, and come on back. So guess what? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Come on, get your seats, honey. Visit www.PhagTawlk.com to get your tickets for the 5:30 show. That is May the 30th, 2025.